Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Megan, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler V series V's I do for a little while. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I drink stuff that, folks, I'm gonna talk about stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not gonna lie. I don't imagine this is gonna be quite as good as the last thing that I just reviewed, but we'll get into that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing grody work clothes. Typically, when I'm inside the truck and I'm wearing grody work clothes, that means I was on my way home from work. I found some shit to review for you. That is definitely the case today, although I was specifically scouting this one out. It wasn't like a random find. Because this particular item is a variation of an item that I was really excited about. I'd heard about it maybe a couple weeks ago. I got sent an article through the, ad stuff and everything. They're like, bah, 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 bah. You like weird shit. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Fair enough. So I went over there and I've been keeping an eye out on it for the last couple days. Finally ran into it today when I got off work. What is it? What are we doing? Boom! It's Coca-Cola Spiced, but it's not just Coca-Cola Spiced because that's what I just reviewed. We're doing, boom, Coca-Cola Spiced, zero sugar. Yay! My buddy Dan will be thrilled, I'm sure, and he doesn't watch my videos, so fuck you, Dan. Ha ha ha! Yeah, so okay. If you want my full thing on Coca-Cola Spiced, like I said, I just got through reviewing it. But basically, the long and the short of it is that this is the first, in a little while, permanent flavor coming out from Coca-Cola. Basically, like last year and the year before that, they would do like these one-off flavors, like the year 3000 stuff, and I don't know, like weird name things where like you couldn't really tell exactly what they were supposed to taste like. But they were interesting and fun. I reviewed most of them when I ran into them on the channel. This one, though, this is supposed to be a legit thing. This is like, no, this is going to be on shelves and it's going to stay there for a while. And this is a zero sugar version of it, which I'm not super excited about, clearly, because usually zero sugar version is just a crappier version of the normal stuff. But let's get a thing for the thing. Can we get a thing for the thing? Is that going to work? I don't know, maybe. Ha 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 ha! Sure, let's give it a go. Okay, it's supposed to have like kind of a raspberry aspect. So again, watch my review of the spice if you want my full take. Okay, you know what? A lot better than I was expecting. A lot better. Still not as good as the original stuff, but better. Yeah, it still has. I've mentioned this before. I've reviewed a lot of zero sugar stuff. It's like increasingly, a trend, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Increasingly, we're getting better and better at finding ways to mask that zero sugar taste or supplement it in some way. And I do genuinely think that probably within the next maybe even 5, 10, probably more realistic years, I think we will eventually just have like sodas and stuff like that that are zero sugar that are pretty much indistinguishable from the real deal. But we're not there yet. This, however, I will say is better than some of the zero sugar outings that I've had from Coca-Cola recently. I forget, maybe there was like a rosé one. That was like one of their weird one-off flavors. The zero sugar version of that was atrocious. I hated it. My buddy Dan liked it because he likes zero sugar stuff. I thought it was absolutely nasty. But this is perfectly live-withable. It's not taking too much away from, the classic flavor, what you're supposed to be getting. But it's obviously not a one-to-one. And I'm honestly kind of surprised that I mean, I know with it being zero sugar and stuff like that, it's obviously going to have a different flavor. But a lot of times, when you do have the zero sugar stuff, any like added flavors that they add, that they add into it, um, come through more prominently. And I remember like with the rosé one, like I didn't like the taste of it, but I could taste the difference in it more substantially. In this, not so much. Like there's a hint of that raspberry aspect. Whereas comparatively I mean, it's not a heavy raspberry flavor even in the full sugar stuff. Um, but in this, it's almost ethereal. It's really stretching it. Like it's there, to be fair, but I think what they kind of tried to do with it a little bit was I think that's part of what they used to try to mask that zero sugar flavor. Problem is that the zero sugar flavor is still the zero sugar flavor. And it doesn't, because the raspberry is kind of a light flavor already, it doesn't quite have the full power to knock it out. So instead it almost they sort of neutralize each other. So you still get a little bit of that raspberry, but you also still get a little bit of that zero sugar taste. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence with this one as far as like, I mean, I don't like it as much as I like the actual stuff, but like again, it is very drinkable. It tastes more like a diet version than a zero sugar version. That's about the best compliment I could give it. Um, because when they do zero sugar, like it's obviously still sweet, they're just using other sweeteners. That's how they get away with that whole thing. It's not that there's no sweeteners in it. And those other sweeteners don't taste exactly like sugar. It just doesn't work that way. So that's where that zero sugar flavor comes in. I do think they did a relatively good job of masking it, but again, I feel like they kind of lost the kitsch of the spiced aspect because I don't feel like that raspberry flavor that you get in the normal one is really coming through as prominently. I mean, two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? I mean, for me, no, and as for recommending it, kinda. I have really no reason to go back to it. Excuse me. If I'm gonna go over there and get Coca-Cola spiced, I'm gonna get the normal stuff. If I really want a zero sugar drink, which to be fair, I do. There are plenty of zero sugar drinks that I do actually, indulge in. If I'm gonna do that, I have other ones that I like a lot more than this that I would go for. Or I would just go for something with, no sweeteners regardless, just like tea or whatever. Yeah. For me, it was always going to be an uphill battle because it was going to have to... there's just no reason for it for me. But I will say again, like, it's not bad. I will gladly drink the rest of this, and it'll be fine. It's nothing I need to go back to, though. But if I am recommending it, again, kind of yes, because it's very drinkable. I don't think it's an overall okay experience. Again, it's kind of like a Diet Coke with a little something extra. The thing is, I think if you want to actually experience, the spiced aspect of Coca-Cola Spiced, I really do think that you got to kind of do the normal sugar version of it. But I also understand that's not an option for everybody. So for the people who, for one reason or another, if you can't or just, don't want to, the zero sugar version works. It's tasty enough. I don't think it does the best job of representing the flavor that they're trying to put forward, but it is tasty enough, so if you run into it or something like that, still worth giving a shot. You might take more away from it. Like I said, my buddy Dan likes the zero sugar stuff. He's been, fairly zero sugary for, probably like a couple years now or something like that. So for him, it's a whole different flavor experience. He's more acclimated to it. Me, I mostly just do it for reviews. Although, again, there are some that I actually like. But anyway, 5 things for you to get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of your folks. Go over there, have yourselves a truly surprisingly okay tasting Coca-Cola new flavor-tastic rest of your life. No, do way better than that. But, you get what I'm talking about. Final two things, folks. Number one, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always easy thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating, just bullshit sometimes. And when we have to deal with stuff like that, well, sometimes we just let our inner asshole out. It just happens. But it's important that when we do find ourselves in circumstances like that, we at least try. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, here's what I want you to go out and do. If you are somebody who's of the zero sugar persuasion, whether enjoyment or, again, just for more practical reasons, and I do know that there are people who count myself as, my viewers who are those people. Please, if you try it out, please comment, let me know. Is it the same as I kind of described for you? Are you getting more from it? Because again, it's like my palate, for one thing, is just my palate. But then on top of that, it's like, again, I'm geared towards the sugary stuff. That's what my palate experience is. So short of me going on like a no sugar binge, which realistically I probably should if I want to be healthier in my life, but probably not going to happen anytime soon. I can only go off of what I can personally experience. So it's like, like I said, I genuinely like your opinion on that. I'm sure Dan will go over there at some point and he'll try it out and maybe he'll let me know. But I'd like to hear it from you people because Dan doesn't watch my videos. So fuck Dan. Anyway, bye.